here, I'm just going to take probably a smaller clove of garlic.
And this is still the fresh green
Yes,
garlic?
this is still the fresh. And pretty much once, the fresh garlic is in season, I'll use it until they start doing dry, just because it's one of my favorite things.
Sure.
And really, when you use that back slice and you're using your knife to kind of slice that garlic, it's never going to leak out too much of that garlic flavor. So you can actually use a good bit of garlic, and it's not going to be overpowering.
Good to know.
All right, so next I have some pistachios. We use these a lot in place of pine nuts. It comes out and makes a really nice pesto. So what I do first is I'll add the garlic and the pistachios, and then I'm just going to pour in some olive oil.
Oh, a good bit.
Yes. And one of the things that I do here is I like to get the oil in first, and then we'll just pulse it.
So kind of break those up first before you add the greens.
And so you can see, one of the things that is, I think, the best way to make a pesto is you have that vortex in there of the oil. All right?
Vortex.
So now we can
Getting scientific.
we can add this arugula right to the top. And so what happens is that's going to pull it down in. So you don't have to keep remixing it. So now I'm just going to pulse this. And one of the things for the pestos that we make at Bolit, I don't ever like it to be too much of a paste.
Yeah.
You like to feel the
Very
arugula.
loose.
Yeah. So now basically what I'm going to do is, once I start with that, and that was probably about a cup of oil, I'm just going to add it and kind of pulse it down until I get the right consistency.
The arugula is really nice and peppery too. A lot of times you buy it in the grocery store these days, it doesn't taste like anything.
Right. And I think it's kind of neat with the arugula pesto. It gives you a little bit more of a spiciness and a pepperiness that goes really well with the tomatoes. And then you still have the basil in there to kind of give you that sweetness.
Sure.
So I'm going to add a little bit of salt because we're getting close to the end here. And you can kind of see it's a little bit, a little bit more rustic, nice and
Lots
pureed.
of big pieces of the arugula in there.
So right at the end too, I'm going to fold in a little bit of Parmesan.
And you put that in the end too. Why is that?
Because I feel like sometimes that can form more of a paste.
Okay.
And it'll kind of give you a stranger mouthfeel,
Yeah.
like almost a chalkiness.
Sure.
All right. So we're just going to zap this once or twice.
How do you feel about doing this in a mortar and pestle?
At the restaurant, we don't usually do it because you don't have enough time.
Yeah,
but
sure.
if I was at home cooking for my family, then I love to do stuff in mortar and pestle because
Awesome.
it just feels like,
More authentic.
Right. So I'm just going to give this a little taste to make sure we're on the right track. It tastes pretty good. I'm just going to add a little pinch of salt.
Now I notice you're using this beautiful flaky Maldon sea salt for everything. Is that typical in the restaurant? Or?
No, not always because
Okay.
it does cost a lot of money. So usually we'll use kosher salt.
Yeah.
And then from there, we'll finish a lot of times with the Maldon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
So our pesto's ready to go. I am just going to come over here and add a little bit of pesto to our salad. And that's going to kind of finish up, put the final touches on the salad and really bring our pan sauce, so to speak, together.
You can see a lot of juices come out of those too.
And so usually when I do this, I'll actually, as we're starting to get the juice forming, I'll actually come in here and that's what I'll taste. Once I have that seasoned, if you would like to give it a try.
I would love to.
All right. So I would just taste right down there. You're starting to feel it's really starting to come together. And even that salt will kind of
Nice
mellow
amount of
out
salt, yeah.
the more the tomatoes kind of macerate. All right.